So consciousness is not specifically limited to a person that has a sense of I am, but rather consciousness is. It simply is, without any addition or attachment to an I or an I am. So in this sense, objective ultimate reality consciousness, which is all-pervasive and impersonal, you could say, will inhabit the subjective space of what we call a mind-body identity, or a person, or a human being. And that's what it means to be an objective reality within a subjective space. And that is eternal. It is eternal beingness, eternal presence, the eternal now. The eternal now. Focused into a subjective space called the body and a subjective, what we call timeline. So it's true when it's said that eternity is in love with the productions of time. I think it was William Blake who said that. So yes, we are not even eternal beings as such, because that implies individuality, but just eternal beingness, what we refer to as one consciousness. But there's a bit of a plot hole when it comes to self-realization and oneness, because when people are focused on oneness, they're really kind of fixated on not two. But that implicitly, it already implies duality in a subtle sense. Likewise with self-realization, who is the self who is realized? And people will say, well, I, and if there's only one I, then that must mean that I am God. But that's still a delusion as far as the truth is. So you get a lot of people walking around saying, "Oh, I am the self, therefore I am God." I see that as a bit of a plot hole, or a trap, even, of the ego getting into the back door. And yeah, okay, if you are the self, if you are God, then why do you need to go around announcing it? Why can't you just crack on with being? So I think we need to get the whole self and God delusion out of the equation in order to truly experience reality as it is. And so in that ultimate objective reality state, it is pure consciousness, without any add-ons of I or me. It's just pure presence, pure being. And don't add anything to that. It just is that beingness, eternal all-pervasive presence within the eternal now. And say, okay, why this subjective human experience, which is just, a dream? Why? Why this? Why this form? Why is it so symmetrical and perfect and geometrical and all that? Well, because what you could call metaphysical or non-physical consciousness is in love with the products of time, which includes form, the human form. And form and beauty are synonymous etymologically. So what is in form or information is literally inherently beautiful. And when some people say, oh, I found God, oh, I'm discovering the beauty of the universe everywhere, it's always been there. All forms are beautiful, even the so-called ugly ones. So, because it is part and parcel of that pure consciousness. And it is the body, it is the brain that is the receiver of this consciousness, or the conduit of this consciousness. And that's what Jesus Christ meant when he said, let the Spirit speak. Because it is just, you are that Spirit. Unborn, eternal, everlasting, unchanging. And it's very, very difficult for the mind to grasp because, surely something has to have a beginning and an ending. But from the objective reality that is, you could say, absolute, there is no beginning, there is no ending. It just is. Eternal now. And what happens in the phenomenal world, and what they call samsara, is literally a play of form. A play of form. Streaming now you see me, now you don't. But it's just consciousness, exploring and playing with itself, really. So, yes. So infinite consciousness, does it have a frame? Is it limited to a personal form with a personality, features, qualities? Maybe. And the reality, can only be pointed to through realizations such as these, but the reality goes beyond words, beyond language, beyond labeling or frameworks. And at the moment of physical death, words won't save you, from the physical passing. No words, no intellectual concepts. Nothing's going to stop what needs to happen from happening. So the trap is in, these confining conceptualizations, really. So when they say the ultimate reality is numinous and ineffable, it's a signpost. It is on the right track, you could say. But those are just words, ultimately. Just as the green light, means that you can go through. But does it mean that other people will actually go through the green light? Likewise, the stop sign indicates that a car should stop, but it doesn't mean that it will happen or not. So we often take, as Alan Watts says, the menu for the actual dinner, and that's how we alienate ourselves more than anything. So when we look at religious scriptures and so forth, we mistake the menu for the actual reality. And we become fixated on the means to the end rather than the end in itself, which is there is no end. It never ends. It just is. And that's it. So so what does this mean? Am I inviting people to be more Zen? In a sense, yes. But Zen, again, is just a word, a concept, a signpost pointing to an unspeakable reality. And when someone asked, what is Zen? Some enlightened sage took his finger and pointed at the moon. So many people who are very intellectual will say, is Zen the finger? Is Zen the act of pointing at the moon? Is Zen the moon? Because as long as we keep asking questions about what's going on, the more we're in illusion or Maya and not reality as it is. So very much along the lines of the Buddha who taught through symbols and props, basically. I don't have a flower with me now, but the Dharma is essentially this. If I just imagine I have a flower, and what is the meaning of Zen? What is the meaning of life? What is the Dharma? And here's the flower. I won't say anything, but I give the flower to you.